How's it going, everybody? I'm the BTC Reaper. My goal in this channel is to teach you how to reap the rewards of trading, whether the price is going up or down. Coinbase restricts Ethereum Solana staking in 4 US states. America's largest exchange, Coinbase, said they will stand by staking and fight the service in court, but they are going to stop the service for new customers in California, New Jersey, South Carolina, and Wisconsin. Anyone that has a current position is still safe, but you cannot add to your positions. Americans in every state deserve access to the same technology and economic opportunities as people everywhere, and therefore it would push back against the certain states requiring a staking ban, they said. Due to the actions taken by state regulators, customers in those states will be unable to stake additional assets. Customers' crypto that was staked before these orders were issued that remains unaffected. So if you have current staked products, you're safe for those to get rewards, but you cannot add to those, so you can't average into any staking. Jay-Z's Rock Nation and Puma drops NFT enhanced sneakers. So the collection features 3 different mixtape inspired sneaker styles named cassette tape, disc, and playlist. Each pair of sneakers features a unique blockchain-backed LGT tag hidden under the tongue of the left shoe, and an NFC chip that can be scanned with a smartphone to unlock exclusive digital content, which gives you an NFT and some other access. The NFT is minted on Avalanche by Legitimate. You will also get access to weekly mixtape drops and a 14-track playlist featuring unreleased music from upcoming artists that Rock Nation does business with. You'll also get unfettered access to life behind the scenes of a Rock Nation artist, so you get to see some of the behind the scenes action of how they do their stuff. The one issue here, why I have this in red, is if you use the NFC to get your NFT, people might try to rip off the NFTs, so hopefully they have some sort of thing in place that that will prevent people from using some sort of NFC to just steal the NFTs from one store or something. Binance slashes staff, but says reports of thousands being cut are way off. So, the world's biggest cryptocurrency exchange told Decrypt that it had laid off staff, but would not confirm the amount. So they wouldn't say how many they're going to lay off. CZ said on Twitter that the numerous reports by the media are all way off. The Wall Street Journal reported over 1,000, and CNBC said between 1,500 and 3,000 employees were being laid off. Binance replied today, and they said that they are not right-sizing and getting rid of people because they overexpanded. Rather, they're reevaluating whether they have the right talent or not, especially going into this lawsuit. So, over on our total market cap here, we are coming down into a kind of support resistance area. We have this channel here. If we break this area, we could slip into this channel, which would give us a risk of kind of just spilling over. Our RSI is pointing down, stochastic's starting to head up, but it could start to come down. If you see, it's kind of sharply declining behind the RSI there. Our momentum's starting to lose steam, kind of diverging. Our VWAP is heading down, so our momentum may get a red dot if our VWAP continues. Money flow is also struggling and is heading toward that neutral. If it breaks through, we could give control right back to the bears. Over on Bitcoin dominance, we are pushing down a little bit. We have a long lower shadow candle, kind of a doji candle as we have this upper wick. But if the long lower shadow part plays out, we could see a bit of an upside as that's a bullish candle. RSI is going kind of flat. Money flow is starting to kind of taper off, so we'll have to see if it can round up and recover. Our stochastic is heading down and starting to weaken though, so our RSI is likely to continue if that doesn't push up. Our momentum is pushing down pretty strongly into the bearish territory. It's sharply coming down currently, so it may come down a little bit more, but likely it would bounce pretty soon, as I don't think it's really gone much below this too recently. Yeah, it hasn't really gone much below this point, so it is a pretty low spot for it to be in. Our momentum is in the bearish territory, so if our VWAP continues to fall, our momentum would likely continue to fall, but it's likely we're going to see a little bit of a push. As I showed, we don't really have much more history of us being this low. Over on Bitcoin futures, we are kind of pushing down against this flag. So just watch out, as we could just zigzag around and kind of just crash down. Our RSI is pointing down. We have a red dot that's signaling it wants to get some bearish momentum. Our momentum has a red dot on it. Stochastic is coming down. It's very tight. It wanted to make a bullish cross, but it just went very tight, so it could just fold over and push down more. Our VWAP is breaking into the neutral, so our VWAP is breaking bearish just slightly, but if it recovers, we could see a green dot invalidate the red dot, and we could gain some traction. Our money flow is pushing down, so we do have a kind of rejection from that neutral. So if we do see another red candle, we could see further downside. Over on the daily for Bitcoin, we're getting a bit of a bearish engulfing candle that could push us lower if we're not careful. We also did break our support zone, so we did not confirm it as a support, and it is now resistance again. RSI is heading down with the red dot. Stochastic's about to make a bearish cross. Momentum is starting to round over. Our VWAP is pushing down. Our money flow is starting to round out, so just watch out, as if this continues, we could push against that neutral and fall bearish. If we get close to this golden pocket, it's likely we could get a quick move back down to our point control or beyond the point control, as that's a high manipulation area, so just keep that in mind. I'm going to get rid of this kind of flag that we have there. That way it's a little easier for you to tell which blue line's the point control. That's why I kind of switched to these lighter blue lines for this ascending channel and these lighter patterns. Over on the 4 hour, we had a bullish pattern, but we broke bearish. Yesterday we had a bearish pattern and we broke bullish. So sometimes patterns don't always play out. That's why you want to make sure you manage your risk and manage your comfortability. If you were in some sort of short and you saw that skyrocket, you might have been tempted to jump out. But if you bought in up here, you would be in profit if you held out, if you had that conviction. But that's not always the case, so don't just take that for granted. Sometimes you'll just continue moving up. You gotta kind of manage what will go on and make your best judgments. Stochastic is pushing down, RSI is pushing down. It could start to roll over here if this stochastic continues. Money flow is pretty tight on this 4 hour, so our money flow is not doing too good. VWAP is coming down, so if that keeps coming down, we could see this momentum break down even further. Our money flow, if that doesn't get a bounce off that neutral, we could break through, as we've been riding it for several candles. Over on the 2 hour, RSI is starting to curl away. Stochastic wants to make a bullish cross, so they'll want to push us up, but unless we get over the 30, we don't have bullish momentum. Our VWAP is trying to push higher. Momentum wants to curl higher. That'll be dependent on if our VWAP can push through that neutral or not, so keep an eye on that. Our money flow is a little iffy. We are in the bullish territory, but we're overall getting lower highs currently and could start to round away. Over on the 1 hour, our RSI is starting to kind of curl away here. Stochastic's starting to curl away. Our VWAP is in bullish territory, but about to start to curl, so watch out for that. Our money flow is starting to get a rejection from that neutral, so we are in the bearish territory, and we are starting to confirm a bearish trend. If we keep digging lower, then that could lead into the higher time frames, and we could see that drag down. That momentum wants to come up, but if that VWAP rolls over, we could see a red dot. Over on graph, we are getting a bit of a red candle. We got a decent move. We went through that Fibonacci area that I've been kind of warning about, but we did not hold. That was a pretty strong resistance for us, and we got rejected from. We did see this bullish pattern play out. So now all patterns don't fail you. So again, manage your risks properly. RSI is starting to point down, Stochastic's starting to curl down, momentum's starting to come down, VWAP's starting to come down, our money flow is starting to reject away and break bearish, so we could be in for some more downside, especially since we rejected that Fibonacci area. Our Stochastic is curling away and pushing down, RSI is pushing down, momentum's starting to come out, our VWAP is pushing down, our money flow is in the bullish territory, but very slightly. It's struggling to kind of maintain this bullish strength. So if we round away from here, we could see bearish action kind of start. Over on the 2 hour, we have a bearish divergence with our momentum here, so that could push us down. RSI is starting to curl away. Our stochastic's pre-beat down wants to make a curl, so if it can curl, that could push us up, so watch out for that. VWAP is trying to kind of curl up, so watch out if that does go bullish, as that could save our momentum from going too far into the bearish territory. Over on the 1 hour, our stochastic is starting to get a bit of a bend here, so we could lose strength. RSI is struggling to get a new high, so that could start to roll over on us, as we kind of have this like sputtering pattern where we were going up, but then we push down, and we're not really pushing up too strong here. So watch out if we get a red candle, as that could start some bearish action. Our momentum's coming down. VWAP is trying to break through that neutral, but it's struggling, so if it doesn't break through that neutral, we could get a rejection, and we could see everything else curl away. Over on Anchor, don't know why it's doing that. We have this rising wedge that wants to bring us down. We are getting a bearish candle. Stochastic's kind of rounding out. RSI's kind of rounding out. Momentum's starting to lose strength. Our VWAP is starting to push down. So if that VWAP breaks bearish, then momentum's likely to get a red dot that'll push us lower. Money flow was in the bullish territory. It's starting to get close to that neutral, so just keep an eye on if the next couple candles break that neutral. Over on the 4 hour, our stochastic's pushing down, RSI's trying to curl up, our VWAP is pushing lower, our money flow is maintaining bullish momentum, however it's struggling to get anywhere above this like 13 zone, so we could see a bit of a rejection if the lower time frames don't have some bullish momentum, especially with the VWAP and stochastic coming down with the momentum. Over on the 2 hour, RSI is starting to push down. We are getting a bit of a curl. We wanted to come up, but if that curls out, we could push back down. Money flow is making higher highs and ramping up pretty strongly, so if that continues, we could see that carry over in the higher time frame. Stochastic wants to get a bullish cross, and our VWAP wants to push higher, so that could help push our momentum wave up. If that stochastic does get a bullish cross, that RSI could strain out and push higher. Over on the 1 hour, our momentum's pretty oversold. We are getting a green dot here. Our VWAP's trying to break through that neutral, but it's struggling, so if that VWAP doesn't break through with some strength, we could see a red dot follow. Our stochastic looks like we could start to lose some steam here as it's starting to bend, but our RSI is going up. We are kind of pushing around to 17. We'll want that to get over that 30 for that bullish momentum. Over on XRP, we got rejected from our golden pocket pretty strongly, so we could come back down, test the support, and then maybe make a bounce off that and fill some of these areas. We'll have to keep an eye on it. XRP is kind of going to go in price discovery mode now after this news. RSI is starting to head down, our stochastic starting to curl out, VWAP is starting to lose strength, momentum is a bit overbought and starting to round off. Our money flow is starting to round away, so we could see a bit of a downtrend if we get a bit more drop. Obviously, like I said, you could get that drop to this higher area where we did wick, and then that would be where you would want to hope for a bounce, as that's our more recent support. Over on the 4 hour, we're kind of just spilling away, so just falling sideways. That could become a bullish pattern, as that's a descending channel, and those are bullish patterns. RSI wants to head up, stochastic is losing strength, momentum's starting to come down, our money flow is maintaining strength, but it's not really getting much strength. It's starting to kind of lose its new highs, so just watch out if this starts to roll over back toward that neutral. VWAP is pushing down, so our VWAP could give our momentum a bit of a push down if it continues at this pace. We could see kind of a break like that. That didn't really take us too far down, but RSI is going kind of flat here on the 2 hour. We are getting a manipulation X that could push us lower or signal that we could see a downtrend coming, as usually they come in pairs. Momentum wants to get a recovery. Our stochastic wants to recover with a bullish cross. We'll have to see if that can happen. Our VWAP is trying to push through, getting close to that neutral, so we'll have to see if it can get through and go bullish. If it gets through and goes bullish, we could see a bit of a pump up. Over on the 1 hour, RSI is just starting to slip away. Our price is overall falling. We are getting lower highs and lower lows, so that is a down channel. Stochastic's starting to round off. Our VWAP's kind of flattening out here, struggling to go any higher. So our momentum green dot could get invalidated if we start to round off and lose strength. Our money flow is struggling to kind of maintain any highs. We are hitting this 23 and rejecting. So if we reject again, we could see a bit of a downtrend as we were seeing that before. And price is moving down pretty strongly, even though this money flow isn't moving down quite as strong. So that's about it for the 1 hour. So over to algo for the daily. We are just bouncing around, kind of like XRP. Luckily, a lot of people taking profits. I always tell you that once you get a big move up, you'll usually see a correction the other way. And likewise, reverse. If you get a big move down, usually you'll see a big move up. Not always, though. Sometimes there are justifications for big moves down. Our stochastic's trying to ramp up pretty strongly here on the 1 hour, but our RSI is starting to point down, so we could lose some strength. VWAP is overall making slightly higher highs and ramping up, so that is looking alright, but our money flow is coming out, so we could push away here. Our momentum looks like it wants to come up, but could start to curl if that VWAP loses strength here. Over on the 4 hour, you can see we hit our point of control, and then we just got rejected. We did make a bounce off our value area low, so we're going to want to see that hold. Our VWAP is in the bearish territory, pushing us down, so our momentum is losing strength. Stochastic's losing strength, and RSI is losing strength. Our money flow is ramping up, so our money flow is trying to gain some strength, but overall is still bearish. Over on the 2 hour, our RSI is trying to head up. Stochastic wants to make a bullish cross, so we'll have to see if that can get tighter and cross. Our money flow is going bullish, so our money flow is getting some bullish momentum. We'll have to see if it can push higher. Our VWAP is trying to curl up, and our momentum, if our VWAP pushes through that neutral, could get a green dot, and we could see a higher low, and that could push us higher. Over on the 1 hour on algo, we are overall losing strength on our RSI, but we want to curl up after we got that big move down. Our stochastic's trying to ramp up. Our money flow did go bearish, but we are going back bullish, so if this can maintain, we could see further upside and push back to that Fibonacci area. So another one that got rejected by the Fibonacci zone. Our momentum wants to come up, but we are struggling with that VWAP, so if the VWAP doesn't gain more momentum, we could see a red dot play out. Thank you for watching tonight's video. I hope you have a great night.